Hey everyone, in this video I want to share how I power all the different functions of this robot. So that includes the Raspberry Pi, the camera, speakers, LEDs and the motors, all from a single inexpensive drill battery. It took me quite a while to get this working the way I wanted, and I made a bunch of mistakes along the way. So I want to share those with you today, and hopefully that will help you build your own robot. So let me flip the camera around and I'll show you how this works. So as you can see, I'm running this on a standard Ryobi drill battery, using one of these adapters that you can get on AliExpress. This works pretty well because there's a slot in the front of the robot for this battery to sit. I did have to extend, you can see a little bit of white PVC there. I did have to extend that front faceplate with the eyes are so I could have enough room to get that in. But this works pretty well because it's quite heavy and it's low on the robot, so it gives a low center of gravity, so it just helps it climb over obstacles and so on. The only issue is this bloody stem on the top. It's kind of annoying on the Ryobis, so I just had to move everything up a little bit, the camera and the LiDAR. Yeah, so 18-volt battery. It's not always 18 volts. It depends on your charge. So when it's fully charged, you'll get maybe 20 volts, and when it's getting flat, you'll possibly get 16 volts. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, so these adapters, they cost about $10 on AliExpress, and you can get them for all different types of batteries. So whether you've got DeWalt's or Milwaukee's or whatever you have, you should be able to get one of these for your battery. It's just got a standard inline blade fuse, a bit like what you put in your cars, and then just your two cables. You want to grab a bag of these. You can get a whole bag of these. I've got several of them here that I just bought for a few bucks. It just makes plugging things in easy. So yeah, go and grab some of those. So I'll take the 18 volts from here, and then I have to basically split that out into different sections, I suppose, for the different voltages that I need. So just to give you a heads up, for the Raspberry Pi, I need 5 volts. For the LEDs, I need 3.3 volts. And for the motors, I need 12 volts. So what I do is, let me just flip this around. I had to get creative because I was running out of space on the robot. So what you can see, I mounted I don't know if you can see that well on the camera, maybe from this angle. You can see I've got this stack of acrylic pieces. I think there might be 300 by 300 as well. I'm not sure, but again, I got those on AliExpress. You can get them in like a pack. So I didn't even have to cut them. I only had to cut this one because it was a little bit smaller. But yeah, I've got one mounted underneath, and then I have two buck converters. So what happens is the 18 volts goes into both of these buck converters, and then one of them, I forget which one is which, but one of them will step it down to 12 volts, and then that just goes to the motors, and then the other one steps it down to 5 volts, and then the cables come out the back here. So the one that's 12 volts for the motors, that's pretty simple. It just goes straight into the motor controller, which are these two bits here on the front. These are the BTS, what is it? BTS 1790, I think, possibly. These have been really good. I did start off with the L298Ns, but I actually exploded one in one of my earlier videos because I was just thrashing it a bit too hard. But these ones work really well, and you don't get that voltage drop as well like you do with the L298N. They do lose a couple of volts, so these are really good. Yeah, so that just goes through those for the 12 volts. For the 5 volts, this is where things get a little bit tricky. So I've got another buck converter here on the back. I forget which model this is now. I don't remember. If I do remember, I'll put it in the description below. But that just takes 5 volts and steps it down to 3.3 for the LED noodles that you see flicker when it's speaking. So this one, because it's lower voltage and lower amperage, you can just use a smaller buck converter. I didn't need one of these beefy ones. Yeah, so there's kind of cables going everywhere. But yeah, battery power comes out the battery through the two bucks. 12 volts straight to the motors. 5 volt goes to the powering the Pi, but it also goes through to the LED power as well. So I've got another board up here sandwiched in here. It's the I think it's called the YNMOS4, YNMOS4. It's a PWM LED driver, so the power just goes directly into there. You don't want to be powering LEDs directly from your Pi for the same reason that you don't want to power your motors, because it will just draw way too many amps and it'll just fry everything. So yeah, I have the 3.3 going directly to this YNMOS board, and then I just control that via PWM signals from the Pi. Yeah, so the next thing I want to cover is powering the Pi itself. This is where I kind of struggled, and it took me quite a while to get this right. I did have this running off a mains adapter for some time, but as you know, you don't really want robots being mobile and having mains power. So I did find a solution for that in the end. So initially I was running this AI HAT from Raspberry Pi and Hailo. This is the first edition, by the way. They've got a version 2 come out now. It's a bit better. But the trouble with this hat is it basically takes its power from the Pi itself. It doesn't have its own power source. And when I was running this on the Pi, it would easily draw 5 amps straight off the bat. It's quite power hungry. So I found that I couldn't use some of the other buck converters because they just couldn't supply enough ampage. I suppose that these ones down here probably could. I probably could have bought another couple of these. These ones seem pretty heavy duty. I use them on my kids' ride-on RC car as well, and they take a hell of a thrashing, so that probably would have been fine. But I don't know why I didn't buy one of them, actually. I'm sure there was a reason why I didn't get that. Anyway, it kind of escapes my mind. Yeah, so when I was using the AI hat, I needed to find a 5 volt, 5 amp converter, or 5 volt, 5 amp power source. I did initially play with one of these battery packs. They're 18650 battery holders, and they'll put out USB, but I found that they weren't really working that great. I was just getting a lot of voltage drop on the Pi, and if you've ever experienced that on the Pi, you will suddenly start getting spam in the terminals. I forget what the message is exactly, but something about low voltage detected, and then you'll just find your Pi behaving really, really weirdly, like it will just go sluggish and lose connections, and yeah, it just doesn't work great. So that didn't really work. This did work great on the initial version of the robot I did way back when I was just using ESP32. That was perfectly fine, but it's no good for the Raspberry Pi. So what I did buy, I don't know if you can see it well from the camera, but there's actually another board that sits on top now and plugs into the Pi here by the USB-C cable. It's actually one of these. It's by 52Pi. It's a Pi power board for the Raspberry Pi. And this board is really, really good. I got this on AliExpress. It was, I think it was about 45 Australian dollars. So what's that in USD? It's probably around 30 bucks maybe. And it seems to come from the, I think it was the, I don't think it was a Geek Pi store. I think it might have been the official 52Pi store on AliExpress. And yeah, it's been perfectly fine. Like, it's not been a clone or anything dodgy. So I definitely recommend that. But this board is really good because it gives you a number of input and output options. I don't know how well you can see because everything's just kind of crammed in on the Pi here. You can probably see it a little bit from the top there. But yeah, you can take a input from USB-C, so you could use a power bank if you wanted to. The only trouble with the power banks, especially the ones that I could find, like this Anker, at 5 volts, it's really hard to see on the back of this, but at 5 volts you can only get about 3 amps out, which wasn't enough. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend using one of those if you're going to use a Pi. But there is a DC barrel jack in here that you can use as your input, and that's quite flexible. It allows you to take between 9 volts and 24 volts, 9 and 24 DC, which is absolutely perfect for one of these. This is right in that spot that you need. And you don't have to do anything to it. You literally just have to take the power from this and get it into a barrel jack into there. And then you have a number of output options as well from this power board. There's a bunch of pins up here if you want to do like 5V on ground up on the right hand side. Or there's a USB-C output, which is 5V, 5 amp. So that's what I'm using. They even give you this little cable as well that plugs directly into the Pi. So one really important thing to mention, which really is not clear in the documentation for this 52 Pi board, and it will absolutely catch you out if you don't happen to watch this video, you'll be kicking yourself like me, is the DC what was it called, the terminal. It's not a standard size. It's not your standard and if I can get this out, I'll show you. So my memory is fading me, but what are they? Are they the 5.1mm? It's the standard DC jack that you can get, but the one that needs to go into the board itself is actually a fair bit smaller. And they don't mention this anywhere on the documentation. They don't mention it on the website. They don't mention it on Amazon. It was only when I looked at one of the reviews, I think it might have been on Amazon, that someone said, "Oh yeah, this is a non-standard jack." So again, you can get these off AliExpress. It's an adapter, a right-angled adapter. I don't remember exactly what size it is, but when I get back to my desk, I'll have a look and put it in the description. But yeah, it's as simple as that. You literally just take the power source directly from the Ryobi battery, plug it into one of these, put it in an adapter, and then plug it in, and off you go. I've been using this for probably a couple of weeks now, and this has been absolutely fantastic. It really, really is good. I would definitely recommend getting one of these if you've got any kind of Raspberry Pi project that you want to do off of mains. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a couple more of these, I think. What else to mention? I would say that in terms of being able to run everything, one of these 4 amp-hour batteries is really, really good. I was able to run the robot probably for, I don't know, at least 2 hours, probably even more. What is it at now? Yeah, I mean, so I've been using it for a couple of hours at least, and it's still got 2 bars left. And that was the robot driving around using the LiDAR to map the house. The kids were sat in front of it for probably an hour or so, just asking it silly questions and showing it funny things in the camera and asking it things. So yeah, these would definitely get you there. You're probably wondering, why did I buy one of these rather than just getting a LiPo battery? I did look into those LiPo batteries that you get for drones, like the 4S and the 6S batteries. But I don't know if I was just not looking in the right places, but they were very expensive here in Australia. I think the batteries themselves, they weren't too bad. They were between maybe $40, $60 each. But when you price up one of the proper balance chargers and the battery safe boxes and so on, because I want to store them in the shed here rather than store them in the house, because I'm a bit worried about them, randomly exploding or whatever. And it gets to 50 degrees here easily in this shed in the Australian summer. So I have to be really conscious about that. But yeah, basically to price everything up, I was looking at several $100s. I think it was like $300 or $400 just to get a couple of batteries and a charger. So I'm like, nope, I'll just use one of these. I've got several of these kicking around. And you have to think, these kind of batteries, they go through a lot of punishment with the tradies on the job sites, chucking them around, dropping them, falling off ladders and all that kind of stuff. So they're pretty tough. I don't have to worry too much about getting them pierced or whatever that you would do with a LiPo battery. And also charging is really easy. Just chuck them in the dock. When it's green, it's good to go. So yeah, that's why I'm using one of these. These are also actually really popular in the droid builder community. So if you follow any of those guys that build the Star Wars R2-D2 drones, they all use these kind of batteries as well, probably for similar reasons. Yeah, so that's probably it for the battery stuff. I just wanted to make a video because I've been trying a whole bunch of different options over the past year or so, and I've finally landed on something that works for me. So yeah, I hope this helps. Any questions, chuck them down below.